if President William Ruto said, well, guys, we got to do it. Mheshimiwa, let me touch on this. Would you expect that if this goes through, as from the 1st of July, hopefully your salary will be in your bank account by then, without any delay, is that now your payee is going to go up to 35%. That's one. And if that is true, then your housing fund as well is going to be included in that as well. NSSF contributions has gone up. NHIF contributions has gone up. So you're not essentially then saying, just tax me, increase my payee, but at least you've given me a leeway over this other side. But then when you look at your leeway, the closest point for your leeway is even in your cost of production, the cost of transportation. That has as well been hit. Talk to me about this 35% payee for any other person earning 500,000 above in the economy. Is it justified, or it is another unnecessary expansion of the tax bracket?
What I can say along that line is that, yes, there are those sectors that actually, if somebody earns roughly that much money,
yes,
even though some deduction are made to a certain level, can still have something saving at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. Personally, I may not be in position to decline my taxation, and I cannot move to street like anybody else, because that's automatically to show a sign that we are totally on a stray from the executive. that one do not expect from the.
Can I ask what the general mood among your colleagues
is in the House? But I can tell you for sure,
yes,
it is a feeling that actually does not anchor well.
Yes,
because you feel, yes, today about 400,000 out of my salary goes to tax, and then you top up. That makes sure that, to me, that at the end of the day,
yes,
almost my half salary will end up taxation. And that half salary is what I depend with my family and my constituents. Because they have no kitty to manage their welfare issues. So they are dependent on it. And that will tell me that actually will be working zero. Assume I also move and take a small mortgage. It tells then my expense will be minus or something negative. And anyway, let me say the situation Ruto is a difficult one, because he has just assumed to an office, mm-hmm, and the demands are too high, because there are areas that he cannot close his eyes. Because one, your renders does not matter, because once you assume an office and all the liabilities, you must go with them.
You just to go with them.
So all these liabilities, they don't face anybody else.
Yes,
they are facing that one man, and he has to look for mechanism. I would think that, in fact, yes, maybe at some time we can adopt some of the proposals to move out of the critical position we are in.
That's it.
But we must look forward to ask ourselves, can we sustain this in this manner? Or what are we supposed to do? Because at the end of the day, there is no miracle we are going to get. Even though we get to depend from what we call World Bank, any other lender, still that money is the money we are borrowing, and we are subject to pay back. Just to put another burden on top of another burden. So probably that is not the way to go. How do we bail ourselves out of the quagmire we are in? I think we must start living at our strength. If it is our budget, let us minimize our budget levels to a point where we can be able to raise, and then we can live that life going forward.
Yes.
Because assume you have a budget of 3 trillion, and you are very sure that actually your projections actually target to raise a financial year of 2.7 trillion at the highest from your domestic collection.
Yes.
Then how do you deal with your deficit? Then your deficit, you must depend with borrowing. That borrowing, the government first and foremost must cease in totality from domestic borrowing. They must think of where to get this cheap money. Because I have come to Washington the other day. The money is available there. where money you can borrow with 1%, then that money of that level or that magnitude can be able to streamline your pressure. But if you move and borrow from equity, you borrow from Standard Bank locally, at 14% to 15%, then you are not bailing yourself out. And what you are doing is to put a lot of pressure to the citizens, because they have no room to borrow. Because those lenders would like to at least to lend to where they are sure, actually, if the government borrows, we are sure that the government will pay. But, and then they move out from those other SMEs, people who will suffer a lot. Let us first and foremost make sure that we depart totally from the government local borrowing. Even though we borrow like 10%, but 90% let us depend from outside money lenders, because they are there and they are willing to do so.
Pretty much.
And what they are only willing is to get what we call government guarantees.
Yes.
Nothing else. Just try to use that methodology, and I am sure that it can work. If it is this kind of current debts they are in, renegotiate them, so that after you renegotiate them, it can be spared, and at least you can have a room to breathe, instead of that pressure that actually is putting you even to fail to pay your civil service. Because if you ask me, you are not supposed to delay even a day to pay your civil service, your civil servant. Because why? Once you delay them for 10 days, the power does not know that, they will cut power. The water does not know that, they will cut water. Even the radio does not understand that language. So do them good, so that you keep their morale on to do more. Make sure that you give them more incentive, but not withdrawing their incentive.
Pretty much.
I think that's the way to go.
Eric, I want you to hold your thought right there.